Guys, we're live. Tito, how are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm okay. How about you, Don?
I'm good. I'm good. First of all, first off, thank you for making the time tonight.
No,
And
no, no, no. Thank you for having me.
I was saying to myself that, telling myself that you're a busy guy, and I was telling you that let's just do something, and I'll just try to work within your schedule.
Busy is subjective, Don. Uh, it's a matter of making time.
All right. And by the way, let's welcome our audience, friends from the Philippines, friends from here in California, United States. And first of all, guys, it is my honor, extreme honor, to to talk to Tito Loretti Alcala, my friend, classmate of from University of Santo Tomas. That was 1980 81. He took a really a remarkable route towards his career as a designer, as an artist. Um, I'd like to talk to Tito about his timeline. Essentially, before you do that, let's talk about your childhood, Tito.
Okay. Mabuhay to everyone. And good morning here and good evening to you out there, Don. Childhood, um, I was born in a family of artists, so I guess everything was set for me. And for the rest of the family, there are artists left and right. But I pursued my career in arts basically because my dad encouraged me
Hmm.
to be one. He was very supportive. He always made sure that I would win my way towards the vision of becoming an artist. Even take my mom, on the other hand, as an accountant, she also took part in that, and she was actively involved in guiding me where I am today. Done.
So that was a very rich experience, during your childhood, which kind of give you the foundation towards towards becoming an artist.
It's really a combination, and it's uh, work in progress, slow burn. That is, things don't just happen overnight. There
Hmm.
are deviations and all that, but I guess staying focused on who you can be best in the long run, I think is a secret there. You have to know first
Hmm.
what you. So I'm fortunate that I had parents who guided me towards it, and I stayed focused on that in my end. Big sacrifice, but all worth it.
By the way, how was your experience, college experience like?
Uh, you know, Don, you and I, we came from the province, so we talked about this a lot.
Hmm.
So uh, from from high school, it's a big leap to the college level, but you and me, we needed to face a bigger obstacle of coming from the province to the
Hmm.
big. Uh, a lot of the young guys cannot relate on this anymore because of the development of the provinces as urban centers. But during our age, I don't want to age ourselves down, but during our age, you're talking of leaps and bounds from the province to the city. So, uh, from my point of view, and I suppose you agree that it was really very difficult for Provinciano
Hmm.
to adapt. And I'm not talking about doing good, to adapt and survive being in the city. And we talked about that a lot. So,
Yes, we did. We did.
and coming from the province, you were well, you clustered, you were all protected, you were surrounded by friends, and all of a sudden, you were on your own. I guess that's how we bonded together. We were the Provincianos then,
Yes, exactly, exactly.
us and them.
uh, now, when you graduated from college, you had again you took a different route. I think between a couple of years after graduation, you were invited to teach, right?
Uh, Not really a couple of years. The next year,
Oh, okay.
uh, it was just a few days after graduation, I was invited verbally, unofficially, that is. So, and I needed to decline at that time because I felt that experience is a primary reason you should be teaching. I didn't have that. We didn't have that done.
Hmm. Now, what was the experience? Considering that you just came off from college and now you're back in school, but a totally different role.
I worked for a while, 1 or 2 years. Then I took the challenge. I have to admit, it was more of a personal reason I went to teaching. I wanted to enhance my skills as an individual. You know, as a fine arts graduate, you were honed on specific talents and skills like uh, polishing your God-given gift of drawing and on the creative side and a bit. But you were never really trained to express yourself fully and be an efficient and effective artist. Because I've always believed that it's a combination of both.
Hmm.
If you really want to make a big dent or a big difference in the field of advertising, you have to have both.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, some schools, institutions, they they focus on verbal expression and presentations and all
Hmm.
that. But you and I know that UST was more focused on the execution and on the visuals. So we, as UST graduates, we were very good in drawing and visualization. But when it
Hmm.
comes to uh, rationalizing what we have drawn or have in mind was another story. So uh, teaching gave me a lot of confidence,
Hmm.
and teaching taught me a lot as I was teaching my students. So it was a two-way street, Don. Thank you.
No. So when you, by the way, when after what time did you what part of this journey did you decide to start the company that you basically founded and you know started your career as not just as a individual designer, but also really as a big company.
Um, all right. I started as an artist after graduation. I always felt that you have to start way, way below and work your way up, but
Hmm.
I didn't have the patience to work my way up the corporate ladder. So I went to teaching. I only went to teaching for a year, but I felt that I wasn't ready, and I needed to learn a lot of things still for me to be an effective teacher.
Hmm.
I think the 1 year, the 2 years of working experience helped me a lot uh, to impart real uh, ongoings in the industry,
Hmm.
which which the school cannot teach you because you're inside the classroom and textbook and all that. So I had a first-hand experience, which I passed on, and I brought my students to the working place, to the agencies. So, but after 1 year, as I said, I felt that uh, this was too soon for me.
Hmm.
So, and the only way for me to go was to come up with my own uh, agency. And but I realized that I couldn't do it on my own, so I partnered with my former classmates.
Hmm.
So that's how Artist Shop started as an advertising design agency focusing on design.
Hmm.
Uh,
Then at
that
what
was
point?
1984, Don.
1984.
Yeah.
Now, at what point? I know that there's a. At what point did you decide that you take this 3-man crew? At what point did you decide that, hey, it's about time for us to get a little bit bigger than having a just you and a couple of your former classmates?
Uh, I think it was more not more on deciding and all that. We were just taking things as they came a day
Hmm.
at a time. You have to understand, Don, that you're talking of a different era, and we only had 3,000 pesos to start our business. I have my 1,000 peso share in
Hmm.
that agency. So, and beyond that, it was more on the wanting to achieve something to prove yourself as a new kid on the block. So, but we were, you know, I'd like to think that we were fortunate enough to grow as fast as we wanted to. We felt that uh, the agency grew faster than we wanted to. The thing is, we didn't have that much experience. But again, it was really common sense.
Hmm.
The credo of our agency that was that we have no inferiority complex. We have no superiority complex, rather.
Okay.
All we have is the commitment uh, to deliver what we
Hmm.
promised. We neither had the intention to revolutionize the industry. We just wanted to be do whatever was needed and all that. And but above all, common sense was the
Hmm.
most important factor of it all. So I guess that was it. And until today, that's how the agency
Hmm.
exists. Don.
Now you exited the agency. Um, when was that? 10 years ago.
That was 1984. Left the agency.
Left there. Yes.
Okay. When I started in 84, as early as that, I have set a time frame for myself.
Hmm.
I don't know with my other partner classmates, but for me, it was the 25 was already there. I've always believed in giving 100%,
Hmm.
not 101 or not 99, just 100. So, but and I felt that I can only do that if there's a certain time frame. Nobody can do things 100% forever and
Hmm.
ever. So I set the 25 years. Uh, it was not about being burned out, being all that, growing old or incapable, or things like that. But there was a window, and on the 25th year, regardless of where the agency was, or even irregardless, if
Hmm.
I say, I walked out the door. I told my staff, my people, my the agency that uh, that's it.
Hmm.
And they didn't realize that because I never told the younger agency people about that. So that was 2009, and the next day I didn't know what to do. Uh, being in a agency, Spartan life
Hmm.
and schedule and all that. So, but it's a matter of setting a deadline,
Hmm.
deciding on it, and doing it. That's who I am.
So Tito, the main reason that we're here tonight is because I want to talk to you about you as a founder of Silya, which, let me spell it SILYA. I'd like for you to tell us about this advocacy of yours, how it got started.
Okay. Uh, It started the day I was born. uh, I'd like to say that, fate will eventually catch up on us. And yeah, Celia means is an acronym of sa iyo, lolo at lola, yan tok, aming alay. Uh, I've always been a lolo's boy. I've been blessed with having a very good lolo and lola, and I've been surrounded by the elderly in the family. So right there and then, I told myself that one day, someday, if I had a choice, I'd like to do something for the elderly to pay them back. Because as per my mission for Celia, the mission of Celia is it's our way of saying thank you and showing our gratitude and assuring every elderly that we have not forgotten all the goodness that they have
Mm-hmm.
given to us. So it's our way of saying thank you to them, and that the vision is, hey, when we were kids, you took care of us, you gave us the best years, best time of your life. And now that you're getting older, weaker, and gray, it's also our turn. Take it easy, relax. We'll take care of you. Uh, we have your back.
Mm-hmm.
You never left us when we were kids. We won't do that to you either now. So thanks to you. So that's the mission and the vision. And later on, I added the element of
Mm-hmm.
inspiring a future generation of elderly loving Filipinos. So that's where Celia started. Uh, my eureka moment was when I was abroad after I retired. I had the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to keep my promise to my uncles and aunties that people would say, "Oh, when will you visit us?" Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'll do that. So finally, I had all the time in the world, and I got stranded in one of your airports there, Charlotte. And
Mm-hmm.
hey, I saw a lot of rocking chairs, and I sat on them. In fact, I fell asleep, so
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. And I told myself, hey, this probably is what I've been looking for, because I was going around,
Mm-hmm.
and back in my mind, I wanted to do something for the elderly, but never really knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So there I was, seated in the chair, and I said, hey, this is something very Filipino. This is something that we all grew up in. Back in our days, Don,
Mm-hmm.
every home had a rocking chair.
Yes, yes.
Nowadays, yeah, you have large TVs
Mm-hmm.
and all these gadgets, but back in our days, because that's a symbol of our love and care for our elderly. So there I was when I came back. I thought I had it all figured out, but it took
Mm-hmm.
me 3 years to get this thing going. So I retired 2009. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to finally do this on 2012. So fast forward today, we're celebrating Decada Celia, because Celia is 10 years old
Oh,
now.
congratulations on that then.
Thank you. You're part of it. And it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Celia has still a long, long way to go, because caring for the elderly cannot end in just providing them an appropriate sitting facility. Uh, it's a multifaceted thing, especially that our elderly have special needs.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I was so blessed. I'm so blessed that I was able to start with Celia. So sa iyo, Lolo at Lola, yan tok aming alay. Fast forward today, uh, it runs on three principles and pillars, and that
Mm-hmm.
is to thank, to honor, and to inspire. That's to thank, to honor, and to inspire. To thank because the chairs are there.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you are, for as long as you're an elderly, or you insist on being an elderly, or you deny being an elderly, those chairs are for you in the malls or in libraries or in
Mm-hmm.
public places, any public place. Uh, you can sit on it, you can relax.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, it's my way of saying, thank you, we've got your back now. You take care of us, we'll take care of you now. That's to thank. So
Yeah.
that's where Celia started. Then a couple of years later on, I added on another facet of my Celia, and it says there, to honor.
Mm-hmm.
Because to honor means I use my rocking chairs to say thank you to the special people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
If you encounter, if you chance upon my chair, a chair in a mall or anywhere, you check at the back, it has a name there.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that this chair has been dedicated to somebody who has shaped me who I am today. And it's my way of saying thank you. So, Don, you very well know that you are very much part of Celia because you have been a part of my life. Not only part of my life, you've been a special part of my life as a
Oh,
classmate.
thank
So,
you. Thank you,
congratulations to you and cheers to you and your chairs at Centrio Cagayan de Oro.
Cagayan
And
de Oro, which is a top priority the next time that I'm going to visit the Philippines.
yes, but you
Visit
have
the
to tell me
Centrio
ahead.
Cagayan de Oro.
Yeah, you have to tell me ahead because I don't mind flying all the way to Cagayan de Oro and have that Celia moments with you. Done.
Now, quickly, I know that. How about the logistics? How about is this who's funding the this campaign of yours, advocacy of yours?
I it's such an embarrassing question, don't they? I really don't want to talk about it, but let me just breeze through this. This is all
Mhm.
personal finance, Don.
Okay.
For the reason that my lolo always told me that if you want to do something, especially advocacy work,
Hmm.
don't ask for a single centavo from anybody. It's your decision to do an advocacy work. You bear the brunt of it. You do it. You bleed doing it.
Hmm.
So this is all personally financed on. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to bring that up, but okay. Um,
Okay.
so if there were things that gave you a lot of challenge coming up with the logistics with having the I guess the materials or come up with the person to build the chairs. Was there a challenge or other challenges that you have to overcome in order to put these things into reality?
Initially, the I thought that the challenge would be the financing the whole thing,
Hmm.
but I didn't realize that the bigger challenge would be on the production and the fabrication of the rocking chairs. I Had I known about it before, I should not have gone into it. But hey, no complaints. But the bigger problem now, the bigger challenge, okay, let me correct myself there, is the production of the rocking chairs per se.
Hmm.
Because nowadays, the furniture makers, they're so clueless,
Hmm.
pardon my term, on how to make really good rocking chairs. You see, my chairs are handcrafted, and they each chair lasts. The production would last about 2 months at the
Hmm.
most. Not that because they're difficult or anything, but these are handmade by artisan furniture makers, of
Hmm.
which the youngest is at 75 years old.
Oh.
So, therefore, in fact, when I started actually doing this physically, there was a second advocacy that came about, and that is
Hmm.
the empowerment of the elderly. So, Celia, the rocking chairs are chairs uh, for the elderly, done by the elderly.
Hmm.
And people have commented that, oh, no wonder that your chairs are so comfortable because the chairs are done with TLC,
Yeah.
again,
Hmm.
tender loving care for the kids by the elderly themselves. And, they test,
Hmm.
uh, they torture test the chairs themselves. And, if they're unhappy with it, they wouldn't pass it on to me. So that is the bigger challenge of the fabrication. The delivery time is really slow, but I'm happy about the delay, if
Hmm.
you ask me, because it helps me manage my finances better. Can you just imagine if they produce those shares so fast,
Uh-huh.
then
Uh-huh.
I have to pay them
Uh-huh.
out. So God works in mysterious ways, Don. Uh,
What Tito, what's your kind of your biggest feeling of gratification or accomplishments when you did this? Were there moments, were there instances where you felt that, this is really the right thing, that what I'm doing is really the right thing?
okay, thanks for asking, Don. Uh, yeah, uh, Celia moment would be my answer to you. Celia moments,
Mm-hmm.
meaning just seeing an elderly seated on
Mm-hmm.
my rocking chair, resting comfortably, and when you look at them, they'd smile at you. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, when I see the Lolo and the Lola bonding, just like what you're showing now, bonding with the young ones, uh, it's very difficult to get the young ones and the young ones to be doing something together. And I, I'm mighty glad that I'm able to be part of that special moment
Mm-hmm.
that they have. And hopefully, with this, the younger generation could be inspired to be uh, elderly loving
Mm-hmm.
Filipinos in the end. That's why you see there's a small rocking chair
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's called the Celia Mini Me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the lolos and the lolas, they go out with the apos, but when they
Mm-hmm.
see the chair, the kids would get excited easily and they would rush, they would run towards the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And the apo would be playing with the chair because it rocks. So the lolo and the lola, they now have no place to sit. So we decided, the agency that's helping me out, the agency where I came from, that I founded, they
Mm-hmm.
created the Celia Minimi uh, program that produces small rocking chairs. So just like as you were dedicated with your big rocking chair,
Mm-hmm.
Don, I also dedicate the small rocking chairs to kids I know who are special to me and who are 10 years and younger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Don.
Now, going into the next decade of Celia, what is the plans that are maybe you're working on for the next decade? If you're able to share it with us now.
Thank you, Don. Decada Celia was conceptualized on the celebration of 10 years of Celia. And I've always felt that the main objective of Celia is for for a law to be passed here in the Philippines
Mm-hmm.
that every public place should provide appropriate sitting facilities. If you check the laws here in the Philippines, it doesn't say that. Uh, yeah, the malls, public places, they provide sitting facilities
Mm-hmm.
for its patrons and guests, but often they overlook the fact that our elderly, which you and I are fast approaching,
Becoming a member of.
uh, they have special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's my dad, my father, whom whenever I go back to Legazpi, I would make sure I would bring him out when he was still able and capable. But from the house to the mall or to the restaurant, just 5 minutes. You've been to Legazpi, Don,
Hmm.
and everything is 5 minutes away,
Okay.
including
Yes.
traffic.
Hmm.
So the first thing that he would look for whenever he steps out of the car is that uh, is there a CR here
Hmm.
or a lavatory? Then the other one is there a place to sit? So we would look for a place for him to sit after
Hmm.
the using the bathroom, the lavatory, and he would have a rundown of complaints. It's too
Hmm.
low, too high, too soft, too hard, too,
Hmm.
and all that. And up to the point that we would end up discussing and saying that I want the chair that we have at home, which is the rocking chair.
Hmm.
That's how really how I decided that it should be rocking chairs for the care of
Hmm.
the elderly. So hopefully, with Celia, uh, we could have appropriate sitting facilities in
Hmm.
all public places because really, the elderly will be a major part of our everyday living or existence as a
Hmm.
community, a society. Mm, Don.
Well, Celia has been. Uh, you can find Celia in malls in Luzon and Visayas and Mindanao, right?
Yeah, right, Don.
And I'm pretty sure that people have seen it, but they probably just didn't, maybe just didn't bother to read what's the sign there, that it's the dedication that's written there. So
Yeah.
they probably seen it and just didn't mind it. And hopefully that this little program of ours has given them the consciousness, the awareness that, hey, that chair is actually meant for the elderly, and there's a dedication to that chair. And this is an advocacy that's really meant for the elderly, for honoring the elderly. So in a way, hopefully we can be a part of educating the public that when you see that chair, that's Celia. That's the advocacy that we're talking about tonight.
Yes, Don. That's thank you for bringing that up because that is one of the more challenging aspect of doing Celia. Aside from the culture of entitlement, that, sorry, I have to bring that up,
Hmm.
uh, of our youth today, people would just sit there without even checking if these chairs are meant for them.
Hmm.
After all the conscious effort to educate the market, the real challenge really is on ground. We have set up a standee that explains what the
Hmm.
program, but 9 out of 10 users of the
Hmm.
rocking chairs didn't even bother check.
Hmm.
Uh, One would look at the signage at the standee, but
Hmm.
still they wouldn't read. So then we even placed a headrest signage at the rocking on the rocking chair per se, so that before you sit, you can see it. It says
Hmm.
there, if you're 60 years old and above, this chair is for you. Enjoy your silly moments.
Hmm.
Some would look at it and maybe they find that one sentence too long to read,
Hmm.
or some have read it or they feel guilty about sitting still there. They would peel
Hmm.
it. So it's really it should be a concerted effort and about it, and hopefully um, we cannot give up on this.
Hmm.
We cannot lose faith that eventually they will realize that what the meaning, the mission and vision of Celia is all about. I guess that would sum up what Decada Celia will have to be
Hmm.
done,
Okay.
going beyond rocking
Rocking
chairs.
chair. Hmm.
This will now be partnerships, collaborations,
Mm-hmm.
just like what we're having now. I have avoided doing things as this in
Mm-hmm.
the 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm doing this openly
Mm-hmm.
because I've always believed that caring for the elderly is not about bringing your camera.
Yeah.
So for the past 10 years, yeah, of course you have social media and all that, but it's very single-minded on
Mm-hmm.
one thing: to care, which is to thank, to honor, and to inspire. It's not about me,
Mm-hmm.
because I've always been saying rather that whenever you see my Celia, thank you for remembering me, but don't forget the elderly.
Yeah.
Sila ang tunay na kayamanan na ating buhay.
Mm-hmm.
And while they are still around,
Mm-hmm.
let's make sure that they know that we have valued them. We give importance to them, and that let's not be too busy for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in our nature to care.
Yes.
I'm talking about being a Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Filipinos are very caring people,
Mm-hmm.
especially the elderly. We just have gotten a bit too busy
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
to do this. So hopefully, when they see my Celia, it's not me that they remember, but it's rather the elderly. And let's not also forget to thank the
Mm-hmm.
establishments that opened their arms to my program and my
Mm-hmm.
advocacy. Uh, it's very expensive to be in the malls, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been so blessed to have all the big malls supporting my program
Uh-huh.
and partnering with me under their CSR, uh, corporate social
Mm-hmm.
responsibility programs. So forever I'm indebted to them as well, because had they not allowed my rocking chairs in their malls, in their
Mm-hmm.
establishment, and supported me, my Celia wouldn't be where it is now, Don.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be as, as obvious if it were in other, other establishments compared to the mall. There's a lot of people going in and out, and it's really a good, obviously a very great location to have for the Celia.
Yes, Don. It's not really the size of the
Mm-hmm.
institution or the establishment. It's not how big you are, or
Mm-hmm.
how classy. It has nothing to do with all that. It always starts with one simple thing, and that is you share with me the passion
Mm-hmm.
of caring for the elderly. You have to invite me uh, with a single commitment that you do not reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I will be in your establishment for so long that
Mm-hmm.
there's a given inherent obvious reason that your place really cares for the elderly, not for poggy points.
For the
because that's
elderly.
Yeah, because that's one of the horror stories of Celia, if I may say that. But that's another.
That's another issue and concern.
uh, we didn't. We're not doing Celia for that. All right.
So before we wrap up, I there's September. You mentioned quite a little bit earlier that September is a what's the grandparents month,
Yeah.
right?
Universally, Grandparents' Day is celebrated on the first Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
first or second Sunday of September, and that's the reason why Celia was also launched on the first day of September. So, but here in the Philippines, we celebrate it month long because of the dilemma I am
Mm-hmm.
faced with. For 364 days, Don,
Mm-hmm.
nobody cares about talking to me or calling me. But on a single day, and that's Grandparents' Day, everybody wants me. So it's physically impossible. So
Okay.
that's how Grandparents Month
Mm-hmm.
started, and well, that's okay. I have 30 days to go around the country, talk about my Celia and my advocacy. September, that is.
September. Now, anything going aside from your maybe talking engagement, speaking engagements in September? Not, are there any other things that are in the plans in the again part of as we move forward to your next decade?
There are a lot of suggestions
Mm-hmm.
and proposals, but the way the way I handle the next steps for Celia is based on we're very single-minded on solving or addressing a
Mm-hmm.
concern by an elderly. As with the past programs Celia has been involved with, to mention a few, we have Celia Moments.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it the young generation love to sit on the chairs, and Filipino culture of selfie, we're the
Mm-hmm.
selfie capital of the world. They would sit and take a photo and do all the poses. Of course, now it's TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And so the agency and I created Celia Moments. In our generation, it would be Kodak Moments, but now it's Celia
In the
Moments.
moment.
Take a seat, have a photo,
Mm-hmm.
send the photo, and we'll post it in social media. That's one social Celia Moments. Then we have the kids complaining that, I don't want to get involved with Celia because it's so boring. It's for
Mm-hmm.
the old. I'm too young for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we created a program to address that, and that is called Paint a Celia. Paint a Celia primarily answers that problem, and because Paint a Celia elevates, there you go, elevates the love and care for an elderly uh, to be an art form, as an art form. So it doesn't have to be boring. Caring of an elderly might be boring, looks boring because he or she is slow, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean he or she is boring. She is still the same person that we know, only slower
Mm-hmm.
and older, but still the same. So if we can interest the younger generation to Celia, the better,
Mm-hmm.
because to be honest, it's not the elderly caring for the elderly,
Mm-hmm.
it's the young ones caring for the elderly. So that brings us to inspiring them to take
Mm-hmm.
care. Our generation's done. When we see a rocking chair, when we see an elderly,
Mm-hmm.
automatic care for an elderly. But I don't know. We
Mm-hmm.
might be the first generation done to find ourselves in Home for the Aged and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
we better inspire a future generation of
Mm-hmm.
elderly loving Filipinos. So that's what Paint a Celia is, and that's why we have Celia Mini Me,
Mm-hmm.
the small rocking chairs, because they are never too young. Nobody's ever too young to get started on advocating on a person who cares for an elderly. So also another program is the Celia Love Pillow,
Mm-hmm.
because we have noticed that once an elderly is gone, with all the drama on sending off an elderly,
Mm-hmm.
go to, especially here in the Philippines, the funeral and all that. But after a while, they're long forgotten. It shouldn't be, because
Yeah.
our love for our elderly should be forever,
Mm-hmm.
forever. And that's why we have Celia Love Pillow. So the rocking chairs are there to physically care for the elderly when
Mm-hmm.
they are yet around us. But what happens when they're gone? Especially those na hindi natin nakuha yung tamang gusto natin maana. Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
I always joke about that, but it happens. So we should go beyond that. So we created a program wherein we could care for the elderly forever and
Hmm.
ever. And by repurposing the used clothing of an elderly into a throw pillow.
Wow.
A pillow is
Uh-huh.
synonym,
Yeah.
goes hand
Uh-huh.
hand in hand with a rocking chair. Not that the chair is not comfortable, but somehow
Yeah.
it has added like kape at gatas and
Hmm.
all that. So what do now is we ask for the favorite clothing of an elderly,
Hmm.
and then we repurpose it, we form it into a pillow, and it says there that this used to be my favorite clothing that you gifted me.
Oh wow.
Whenever you miss me, know that I am there for you and I'm just a hug away.
Wow. Wow.
So that is Celia Love Pillow. The love continues
Uh-huh.
even if the elderly is gone. And that is the way that we will be exploring.
Hmm.
I just do not know Dawn right now because we always decide on the next program after the celebration of Grandparents Month.
Hmm.
I'll let you know. Definitely let you know about it.
That's quite a novel of an idea. Having the pillow,
Thank
the
you.
clothing of the loved one, departed loved one. Yeah.
I cannot take full credit to that. Uh, Celia just
Mm.
inspired the creation of that. And I'm just so thankful that I'm surrounded by people who really share my passion for Celia because
Mhm.
that is really what fuels Celia to continue rocking. I just started it, Dawn.
Uh-huh.
As what you are doing now, you're making sure that Celia rocks.
It's Rocket. Tito, before we wrap up, where can people get a hold of you? I put on Facebook, you could be reached at Tito Lorete Alcala, just in case they want to, they have questions or maybe they want to do um, collaborations with you, having
All
hand
right.
to work hand in hand with your advocacy.
I have a Facebook account, Tito Lorete Alcala,
Hmm.
and also IG, TL Alcala. But my yeah, email,
Hmm.
it's s.i.l.y.a dot 2700 2700 at gmail.com.
Can
2000, yeah.
can you also be reached at? I mean, they can connect to the company,
Yeah,
artist shop,
Artist Shop is the
agency.
agency I co-founded, and
Hmm.
they have embraced, that's the term, embraced my advocacy, not just adopted it, and they made my advocacy part of their CSR. Artist Shop Cares.
Hmm.
They have adopted Celia under their CSR program. Yeah, you may reach them at Artist Shop Cares. Artist Shop.
Artist shop. Okay, Tito, thank you for the time. Thank you for giving us the chance to talk to you about your advocacy. It's not every day that you get to talk to people that have the kind of thinking, especially for the elderly. Sometimes we, just like what you said, we can't be too busy for our elderly, and we fall into that thinking that, hey, I'm too busy right now. But again, thank you. The Celia is not just a physical thing, but also an emotional thing that reminds us of our duty as children, as grandchildren of the people that have made us what we are today. So again, thank you very much for the time. And also, before we leave, again, I have the honor to have one of the rocking chairs dedicated to my name at the Centrio Mall.
Yeah.
So, so that was a big surprise for me when I saw you last April the
Hmm.
20th. So that was a big surprise and quite an honor for me to have one of the rocking chairs dedicated or have it on my name, especially because it's in Cagayan de Oro.
Yeah. Uh, it's me who should be thanking you, Don, actually, for shaping me who I am today. You are part of who I am today. The question lang is how? Is it the good side or the bad side?
Which influence?
Yeah. Is it by
Oh, it was a good.
choice
It was a
or
good
by
side.
force? No, seriously, caring for the elderly is never a duty. It's uh, it's who we are. It's in our
Mhm,
nature to care, and let's not overlook the fact that they are the real treasures of our life, not the overrated
mhm,
pleasures we are all so focused on. At the end of the day,
mhm,
it's the elderly that really would matter more. Let's not wait for that day when we are at that stage. Let's realize it now because no matter what we do for our elderly when they are
mhm,
gone, once gone, forever gone. So, whoever is listening, the elder, your elderly are still there around,
mhm,
tell them how much you appreciate them. When you go home, again, as I say, mano po. It's
mhm.
something very Filipino, not mana po, mano po. Thank you, Don. Thank you for having me. It's been
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
thank you. It was our pleasure to have this quick chat with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tito.